Brian Shillibeer from ThisWeekinFM. I'm here again today with Souza from NFS Technology, and we're going to be discussing mobile devices and mobile platforms in the workplace and the space management sector. So, first question for Lewis is, NFS is a technology company specialising in certain aspects of software, and yet the article that you've written to accompany today's interview is very tech savvy, very broad ranging. What would you say are the benefits of a technology and a software company having expertise outside of its own business zone that is then of benefit to the customer?
Very good question, Brian, because today you can't design technology solutions unless you understand the way the market is moving.
Yeah.
And you need to understand it at two levels: where the technology is going and how the user community is changing. And if you look at the piece that I put together, I tried to summarize both of those areas. So
Yes.
if you look at user community, people are a lot more mobile, people are using devices, tablets, we've got a number here today. And if you look at technology, it's changing the way in which we do things in our business, it's redesigning our business processes. So I had to take both perspectives into account.
Yeah. Can I stop you just 1 second and again recommend to the audience that they take a look at the accompanying article. It is very well written and very, very informative.
Thank you. So what I wanted to do today was really try and just fill in some gaps, and not with theory, but with practical examples of what we're doing. Our business is wider than facilities, so we are a player in the hospitality space, which we have a large business in, and we also play in the facility space in meeting room management and scheduling generally. So I wanted to sort of take you through the thinking of the company and show you how, in the real world, our customers are using our technology. And so we can go through the sort of three different areas today, if that's okay with you. And if I may start in saying, you probably haven't seen this device before, but this is a proprietary technology for hospitality. And this is an example of mobile, but it's not mobile as we know it as a consumer. Because this is a business device, and the reason hospitality needs a solution like this is very simply, it needs to be ruggedized, it needs to be suitable for a waiter, it needs to be fluid proof. And it also, this is an order-taking device in high-end restaurants. It's got all the functionality. It doesn't use Wi-Fi, it uses RF. So it's a very reliable platform for communication. And it means that if you've got a busy restaurant or a busy hotel lobby with lots of people on Wi-Fi, this will work. It also can be chucked down and it will survive. But the same is true of proprietary devices that I've seen in the facility space, because in facilities you've got hostile environments,
yes, of course.
And very often you need to ruggedize your equipment, or you need to provide something that's very specific for that market. So there is a market, I think, for all three types of platforms: the proprietary mobile device, the smartphone, which is the iPhone and the like, and the tablet. And I think the most significant part of the revolution that's taking place is in the tablet area.
Okay. So, I think we covered the proprietary handheld device quite well there, but I know that you're a big fan of the tablets and the mobility and functionality that it gives people in terms of different ways of working. Can you tell me a little bit more why you're such a big fan of the tablet?
Brian, I think it's a very good question. I think there's really three things for me. I think the world has changed. We're a lot more mobile now. We do a lot of work outside of our offices. So the tablet is convenient to carry. It gives us very comparable capability while we're not stuck in our office. Secondly, the internet is now widely available. You walk into a hotel, a coffee shop, a restaurant, you've got access to the web, and most applications are now hosted on some sort of cloud. But I think the third thing is that the tablet, because it's so portable, enables you to deliver certain things to a mobile user in whatever environment they're in very easily. And what I wanted to do now is to just give you an example of the two or three things that we are developing for both hospitality and facilities on a tablet platform. And really there are three areas that I see that are really important. The first is as an information device. People, facilities manager needs to know if they're running a large building, how many meetings, how many visitors, what's going on. That's information. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do anything with it, but it's important information. The second important feature, I think, in business is tracking. I want to truly understand what is happening at a particular point in the day with my business, whether it is something that may have not gone right in a video conference, or a problem I have in the building. And so I've got the ability now with a tablet to be mobile and to be able to track a lot of things if my technology is designed correctly. And I think the third benefit from a business point of view, and this applies to a lot of different audiences within a business, is the ability to take action. And if I just relate it to restaurants, you very often find that you have a situation where maybe the restaurant is overmanned relative to the number of covers actually there. There's no point getting a report at the end of the week to say my labour costs were high. But if you're the owner or the manager of the restaurant and you're not around, you could say to your front of house person, by the way, I think you need to maybe close your shifts a little bit early for some of your staff, and that way you're keeping your labour costs down. But you only know that because you can see how many diners
Live,
are in the
course,
restaurant
yes.
live. So you've got the information and you can take action.
That's all very interesting. And I know when we spoke earlier on that you were saying that users of this technology can use one of the elements you just mentioned, two of the elements, or
All of them.
all three.
Okay.
Why don't you take us through
We talked
those?
about a tablet, why a tablet, how does it help a mobile user, whether they're management level, whether they're an employee, going about their work. So I just want to show you an example of our new Pulse platform. This is a mobile platform. It's not just an app, it's a platform with a whole data structure sitting behind it.
And can I ask you, Pulse sounds like an acronym. Am I right? And if so, what
It's
does
a
it
brand
stand
name,
for?
actually.
It's a brand name.
It's
Okay.
a brand name. So let me just go into Pulse and explain to you some of the information that we can now display and see in real time. So here's my real-time data set. This is now a situation where I'm running multiple different outlets, and I can see the different restaurants here, and I can see the sales in real time. This is being polling my businesses in real time. It could have been polling my different facilities and picking up comparable information, right? So we've started off in the hospitality area. The nice thing I'm seeing here is how are my businesses doing by comparison with how they were doing last week? So I can see where they're up and where they're down, right? And I can see things like labor cost, etc. But let me just go back to one of my outlets and look in more detail. So I'm now looking at a specific outlet, and these are what I call the key metrics. Now, rather than having lots of information in a difficult format to read on a mobile phone, what we've done is we've optimized the way data is displayed. So when I actually ask for some real-time information, I'm getting all the metrics that are relevant to my business in a very simple way. Sales, labor, payments, and all of that. And I can drill down very quickly. So if I want to look at my sales, it's saying by hour, by day, by category of sales. Right? So you see the advantage of the platform. This information will typically have been available historically through lots of reports. But I've now taken this information, made it real time, done the data warehousing of all this information in real time, and the mobile platform, because of the tablet, is now enabling me to connect and pick this up in real time.
And navigate through it.
And navigate through it with a level of simplicity that I wouldn't have using my standard desktop PC, because the desktop PC was not designed with this sort of user interface in mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting that you think that the interface has also dictated the nature of presentation.
Okay. So I'm dealing there with real-time information and my ability to make decisions. Now let me take you through what I call some control functionality. Because as you get more mobile as an employee, as a manager, as a business owner, what you really want is not lots of data. You want to understand what the exceptions are. And in the hospitality business, there are really two main costs. If you look at restaurants, food cost and labor cost. So if I want to run a successful hospitality business, and I've used restaurant as an example because this is where we are furthest down the road with our mobile platform. And I look at alerts here, okay? And I can see here that in Wembley I've got one significant alert that I need to look at. Okay, this is telling me that someone there is doing something maybe that I need to know about as the owner or the manager. This is very interesting. This gentleman here has printed this check 9 times. Okay, so the question is, as an owner, why have you printed this check 9 times? It could be you had a very good reason, so there's no reason to say something is going wrong. But it could be that he's using the same check to give it to 10 different clients and collect money from them, which means that
it's a security issue.
It's a control issue,
yeah.
Big time. So I've just shown you something in relation to alerts. But the other thing that's very nice is I can now look at performance. I can say, okay, how are my key people doing in terms of performance? In a typical business like in hospitality, it's about sales. It's not necessarily about the number of faults that you have sorted out like it would be in the case of a facilities business. But the metric is the same. You know, you're looking at being able to track something. But I can go further up and say, okay, as the manager of this business, I can now see what's happening in terms of comps. And comps in the restaurant business are a very significant indicator that you've got a problem. Because if you are giving many meals on a complimentary basis in your restaurant, then something is not going right with the business operationally. In the old days, people would know this information at the end of the week, but it's too late at the end of the week, so I don't have the opportunity to ask the right questions. I can see now that this gentleman here has got a very high level of comps. If I click on that, I can have a look at the comps, and let me just pick a particular check. This is the check. So I'm now drilling down to check or ticket level. And I'm actually seeing that on that day, this is real-time information now, I've given away so many lunch servings. So as the owner or the manager of the business, there's something going on here that I need to interrogate. I would not be able to do anything about this if I didn't have this information in real time and in a way that was so easy to identify. So the tablet, with a correctly designed user interface, is giving you the ability to be able to drill down, to be able to identify problems, to be able to take actions. Maybe a phone call, maybe an email. So we're moving from there now to a smartphone. So this is nice if you're a manager with a need for a lot of information. This is now my facilities equivalent in relation to meeting room management. So this is running on an iPhone. And I can see here that I've got all my service items coming through. So as they come through, I can monitor. I can decide, do I need to approve something? Do I need to deny something? So let me just go and open one of those service items. Okay, and I can very quickly here approve that item. So if it's a high-cost catering service, or if it's a high-cost audiovisual, item that needs approval, I'm not now worrying about having to go through 200 emails to figure out. I'm getting an alert on my mobile. This is this is a device that you can download the app, and I can very quickly say, I now want to approve it, and I now want to confirm that it's been delivered. So I'm taking all of these actions on my mobile device with a very, very simple user interface. Okay. So proprietary, smartphone, tablet. Slightly different functionality, slightly different scope. With the tablet, you're getting the experience of management information, the ability to drill down, the ability to do a lot more because you've got a lot more real estate. But the key point is that you see the user interface still needs to be very different to your desktop PC.
Yeah, absolutely.
For it to really give you the ability to do some of the things in a mobile manner that you couldn't do if you were sitting at your desk.
Can I ask you a question? The two separate devices, do you see two different people, two different types of managers holding those devices, or do you see managers being issued with both devices and the tablet perhaps being used when somebody's got a little bit of time to sit down and work through it, and the mobile being used because you're on the run?
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. There's no simple answer to that question, Brian. The mobile is something you will have all the time.
Yep.
The tablet is something that you may have most of the time. That's how I see the difference.
Yep.
And I think the tablet is a better device for more managerial type information. It gives you the sort of information that I've just shown you here, and the drill down capability, the ability to probe, ask questions, take action. It's more easy to do because you've got a larger amount of real estate to deal with. Well, this is more, you've got an alert on your mobile phone, I want to take action very quickly, done. I'm not necessarily making the time to do the sort of stuff I've got here.
Done there.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Just before we move on to the next set of questions, because we've talked about the hospitality industry, particularly with regard to the tablet, could we just again explain to viewers why you see that there is a very close link between the facilities management sector and the hospitality sector? And if we can do that.
I think it's actually very simple,
Yeah.
because what we're seeing in the facilities market is a mobile workforce. The facilities manager doesn't have the same luxury of sitting at their desk and dealing with things in a static environment. They are now having to accept that their environment is changing to the types of environment you see in hospitality, in hotels, in restaurants, in leisure. So the environment is changing because the nature of work is changing, the workforce is changing. So these devices that we've perfected in some way for the hospitality environment, we're now bringing into our facilities business.
And again, I know that you're a great believer in managing resources, be that staff, vehicles, and particularly with regard to space and occupation.
And really, space is about being able to take real-time decisions rather than wait for the end of the month.
Yes.
Because like a hotel room, once the space is gone, you can't get it back. You've incurred the cost, and it's as simple as that.
Lewis, that was very, very informative.
Thank you,
and I'd
Brian.
just like to say thank you very much for that. I recommend again that viewers read the accompanying article, and again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.